Well, we're going to go ahead and start about right on time, maybe a couple minutes early. I don't think anybody will complain about that. First, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We'll still continue to add a few people as we go along. The first thing I'd like to please ask everybody to do is turn your cameras on and leave them on the whole time. And we would like to ask you to please go into the chat box. I see most of you look like you already have, but if you haven't, then go into the chat box, put your name, so we know that we give you credit for attending the tonight's meeting. If you're watching it as a group, then please put everybody that's attending with you and watching from one login so that we can make sure we give everybody credit. I don't want to leave anybody out. We're checking everybody off, as you can see, while we were admitting everyone, but that's 200 people. So it's, and we just did it in about 12 minutes. So a pretty good opportunity to make an error or two. So please turn your cameras on, and then number two, put your name in the chat box so we can make sure we got you covered. Before we even get started on our agenda, I'm going to invite Katrina to join us, and she wanted to bring some greetings from the foundation and just a quick reminder too to everybody. So Katrina, are you with us?
I am. Hey everybody, I promise I'll be very brief. Just a couple of things that I wanted to mention is we have not made the statement publicly, but our gala will be a virtual gala. Unfortunately, we waited until the last minute to make the decision, but one of the things that I wanted to ask is those of you that have things that your students might make, they always sell really well as auction items. So if you would have something that you would like to donate, your chapter would like to donate, we would greatly appreciate that. Like I said, everything that we've ever sold that comes from an FFA chapter, it sells really well. The date on the gala is March the 5th. We're going to be filming it at the camp, so we will make arrangements to pick up and get the item from you somehow. So that was the first thing I wanted to mention. And then just one other thing that I wanted to mention is we are continuing with our Support Georgia Ag Store. I think you got an email about it Friday, but I just wanted to ask if you didn't mind to share it on Facebook or to all your friends. The shirts do not have the FFA emblem on them because we were trying to open it to as broad an audience as possible for those shirts to sell. We also have hats this time, but just anything that you can do to help us keep money coming in during this pandemic, that's been a great fundraiser for us. And so I just wanted to say thank you for what you do, because if you didn't do what you did, we couldn't do what we do. So Stan, I appreciate you letting me jump on for just a few minutes. And if you have any questions about items for the gala or the store, you can definitely send me an email. So thanks, Stan.
Thank you, Katrina. Appreciate all you do for our kids. All right, well, we're going to move right into the agenda now, and I'd like to begin. Josh is going to start us off with an invocation. So Josh, if you'll give us an invocation, we'll get going.
Well, I was going to start by praying for all the teachers, but I think we need to pray for the area teachers trying to keep up with 100 and 200 people coming in at one time. But all right, guys, let's go ahead and get this meeting started. Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this time that we have to get together as professionals, as teachers and friends, Lord, and just pray for the day that we can be back together and wondering. We thank you for the teachers that are represented here and just the lives they touch each day at their school, online, or however they're getting it done. Lord, we just know they're getting it done, and we appreciate them. We'll just pray that you would be with us during this meeting, help us to get the business handled that we need to get handled, and leave those things alone that we don't need to worry about, Lord, and just pray your hand of blessing on us as we go throughout the rest of this year. In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay. Thank you, Josh. All right. Next thing on our agenda is a Teacher of the Year recognitions, I wanted to let everybody know, we're again in another virtual meeting. We kind of hope that maybe by this time we would not be, but we find ourselves meeting again, once again, in a virtual format. I think Teacher of the Year is, I think, an outstanding recognition, and I think one of the most important things you can do, simply because when you get recognized by your peer group as doing the job that they do and doing it very well to the point where you've earned the respect of all those people in your building, I think that's a very worthy recognition. Being as such, we typically try to recognize those Teachers of the Year and give you a little apple, just a token of our appreciation for kind of making us all look good and making our profession look good. And I just didn't really feel like we could do that well over a Zoom meeting. So we are going to kick the Teacher of the Year recognitions like a can down the road. And we're going to hold on to that until summer conference and just cross our fingers again that summer conference is going to be live. And I'd like to save that recognition till we can give them their just reward and do a good job of recognizing that accomplishment, because I think it is a significant one. So what I would like to do is ask all of you out there, since we're all in kind of one place right now, that if you are the Teacher of the Year for your school for the 2021 school year, or if you know of a cohort, a buddy, a friend, a teaching partner that is, then I'll ask you, if you will, to email me that just to my Georgia Agette email and let me know. We will keep up with that, and we will make sure we do a just recognition, hopefully in July at a live summer conference. Next thing I'd like to do is that we've got a lot of student teachers with us in North Region this year, which is great, all over North Region. And we always try to let them stand up at Midwinter Conference and kind of introduce themselves. We're going to try to do that same thing here. It's going to be a little more awkward, but what I'd like to do is just read their names out. I think I've seen a lot of them come on and join us as we've been admitting people. I'm just going to call your name out. When I call your name out, if you're with us, I'd like you just to pipe in, introduce yourself again, tell us the teacher that you're with and the program that you're with, and maybe where you're from in terms of an ABAC student or UGA student. So I'm just going to kind of go alphabetically, and we'll start with Mr. Anthony Baldo. I believe, Anthony, if you're with us, will you pipe in and introduce yourself?
Yes, sir. Sorry, I was making pot coffee. My name's Anthony Baldo. I'm a student teacher from ABAC. I'm with the Keeners and Mr. Dalton of White County High School, and I graduated from Etowah High School in 2015 and graduated from ABAC in May of 2020.
All right, I think we got most of that with the Keeners. Got to get that squirrel running a little bit faster on that wheel up there in White County, I guess. But we welcome you to the North Region. Hope you're having a great experience. I know you are up there learning a lot from the Keeners and Mr. Dalton. All right, Cody Jordan, are you with us?
Hi, I'm Cody Jordan. I'm with ABAC Student Teaching. I'm originally from Raven County, but I'm student teaching in Stevens County with Ms. Hicks and Mr. Dalton.
Excellent. Well, welcome to North Region. Glad to have you. Miss Kate Russum. Miss Kate, are you here?
Yes, sir, I'm here. I'm from ABAC. I'm student teaching with Miss Anna Smith, and I'm in Hart County. I'm originally from Madison County.
Very good. Thank you. Hope you're having a great experience as well. Ms. Lindsay Moore.
Hey, that might be there's a Lindsay in the waiting room. I just messaged to see if she would contact me to.
All right, we'll come back to her. Ms. Krista Anderson.
Hi, my name is Krista Anderson. I'm originally from Franklin County. I'm a student teacher with UGA at Winderberry High School with Mr. Hale.
Very good. Glad to have you. Okay, Ms. Hannah Bailey.
Hello, my name is Hannah Bailey, and I'm a student teacher at Commerce Middle School under Miss April Davis, and I'm at the University of Georgia.
Great, great. Thank you. Miss Abigail Dickerson.
Hey, I'm Abby Dickerson. I'm a student teacher from Georgia, and I'm with Mr. Davis at Commerce High School.
All right, very good. Miss Shelby Morrell.
Hey, I'm Shelby Merrill. I am currently a student teacher at UGA with Mr. Sean Bryant at Loganville High School, and I'm originally from Gilmer County.
Very good. Okay. I know Sean pretty well, so if he gives you any trouble, you let me know. Miss Gracie Moon.
Hey, I'm Gracie Lee Moon. I'm originally from Madison County. I'm a student teacher at UGA, and I'm with Mr. Felipe Pedraza at East Jackson High School.
Okay, good to have you, Gracie. Miss Taylor Casper.
Hey guys, I am from originally Oconee County. I went to North Oconee High School. I am a student teacher at UGA, and currently my cooperating teacher is Miss Blevins at Madison County High School.
Very good. All right. Good to have you. Miss Alyssa Adams.
Hi, I'm Alyssa Adams. I'm originally from Seminole County. I am currently a student teacher with UGA at Eastside High School with Dr. Katrina Pollard.
Okay, good. Glad to have you. Ms. Hannah Cheek. Okay, so we'll move on to Miss Chloe Lynch.
Hi, y'all. I am Chloe Lynch. I am originally from Savannah, but I'm going to UGA, and I am student teaching with Justin Youngblood at Loganville Middle School.
All right, very good, Chloe. Miss Morgan Johnston.
Hi, I'm Morgan Johnston. I'm originally from Lee County, Georgia, and I'm currently student teaching with the University of Georgia at Carver Middle School with Mr. Holman.
All right, very good. Glad to have you. And Miss McKenna Mabry.
Hi, guys. My name is McKenna Mabry. I'm with UGA. I'm originally from Habersham County, but I'm currently student teaching with Miss Keener at White County High.
All right. Very good. Do we have any student teachers out there from Clemson or anywhere else that I did not recognize that I don't have on a list?
Yes, sir. I'm Mackenzie Jones. I'm with Mr. Cale Watkins. I'm from Clemson University. So I'll be at Franklin County High School this year. I'm originally from Anderson, South Carolina.
Very good. Glad to have you. You got a good example being set for you up in Franklin County. Let's go back to Miss Hannah Cheek one more time just to see if we've got Miss Hannah with us. And then I think we left one out. Did we leave out Miss Lindsay Moore? Was she able to join us?
Hi, I'm Lindsay Moore. I'm from Washington, Georgia, and I'm from ABAC student teaching at Oglethorpe County High School under Mr. Travis Surdich.
Very good. Okay. Well, I want on behalf of all, I'm looking at 208 participants in our meeting tonight. On behalf of all of them, I'd like to welcome y'all to the North Region. I know you got some great examples being said at every school you're at, and we're excited to have you. I know you'll have a great experience. I hope you'll call on the region office, myself or any of the area teachers if we can be of any assistance. As old as we are, we all still remember our student teaching experience. And it's quite a great time in our careers, and I hope you're having a great experience, albeit mostly virtual. I can't imagine what that must be like, but it gets better than this, I promise. So welcome to the North Region, and if there's anything we can do, I hope you'll reach out to us. So moving on to our next item on the agenda is going to be our National Winter Recognition. You know, we had a very abbreviated national convention. We didn't have any CDEs, but they did continue on with a few categories, and those students and teachers that worked hard to continue their projects and science projects and SAE programs. I want to make sure we recognize them because they did an outstanding job, and I know a lot of y'all watched it online, and North Region and Georgia in particular was very well represented. So I'm going to read these out kind of fast, and then we'll just kind of congratulate them all at the end. So here we go. In the proficiency award area, we had a national winner in ag education from Newton College and Career Academy, Miss Madison Taylor. We had a national winner in dairy production entrepreneurship from Gilmer County, Miss Octavia Bushy. We had a national winner from Madison County in diversified livestock, Mr. Corey Yarborough. And then in the agri-science fair, Miss Kylie Hurd was a national winner from Redbud Middle. From Franklin County Middle, we had Connor Anderson. From Youth Middle, we had Heaven Smith and Kaylee Goldstein. From Franklin County, we had Chloe Pulliam and Kara Pulliam. From Franklin County, we had Kathleen Rothwell Adcock. From Franklin County, we had Alexander Turner. And from Franklin County Middle, we had the National Chapter Award Outstanding Middle School Program. So I think I got everybody. I hope I did. If I left anybody out, I'll apologize up front, but certainly some great recognitions from some schools in the North Region doing a great job trying to provide those opportunities for their kids. And I know that wasn't the easiest thing to do, trying to maintain that virtual presence all the way through, and I appreciate the guidance that you gave your students and resulted in a national win. So we're going to move on into kind of some of the, I guess, the meat and potatoes of our agenda tonight. And the biggest thing I think probably on everybody's mind right now is our program review process. We've done a lot of talking about it as a leadership team. And the first thing I want to say is this: a year ago, almost a year ago, you know, we kind of all got caught off guard. Nobody knew their last day of school last year was their last day of school. Everybody went home on a Friday, supposedly for 2 weeks. That turned into the whole month of April, and that turned into the rest of the school year. We didn't have a plan. We didn't see it coming. We did not have any backup for CDE events, and a lot of stuff got left undone. And in light of that, when we did program evaluations last year, we had people attach an addendum with every standard that was not met, and with an explanation being that the COVID protocols of their school made it impossible to meet those standards. This year, if you remember back to our fall teacher meeting, we knew this was coming. We knew we were in a virtual world. We didn't know how long it would last, but we knew what we were facing. And I want to remind everybody that we are fully funded, extended day and extended year. And you know that every dollar of that funding is set aside for us to meet the program standards. So we kind of came into this year knowing what we were facing. And I want to encourage everybody to do whatever it takes to meet those standards. It's kind of like we were paid up front to do a job, and we've got to complete that job. There's still time to meet all of our standards. We've conducted every CDE that we've done virtually. We've conducted teacher meetings virtually, the GVATA summer conference. We've tried to make it a possibility to do everything that is required of you to do. So I want you to look over those program of standards as we kind of round the corner and head toward the home stretch. And, you know, if you've got to do an advisory committee on your end virtually, then now would be the time to start thinking about that. If you maybe didn't participate in some CDEs first semester because you were expecting everything to be back to normal second and that didn't happen, then, you know, maybe chart a course that will lead to meeting the 2 LDEs and the 3 CDEs, and make sure you get a minimum of those 5 in. FFA meetings virtually, I know y'all I've seen what you're doing in your classrooms, and I've seen the way at which you've handled everything that's been thrown at you this year. And I don't have any doubt in my mind that you can use that same creativity and the never say die attitude to get done whatever's got to be done. So I want to encourage you to look over those standards and chart yourself a course to make sure they're all met, because they were good enough this year to make sure we all got paid. And I think we owe them that effort. This year, you know, last year we were supposed to do the program reviews for Area 2 in person. This year we're supposed to do the Area 1 programs in person, but we're going to do the same thing we did last year. we are going to ask your administrations to conduct every program review this year. And the reason we're going to do that is because, like I said, there's 211 of y'all right now logged into this meeting, and there's probably about 211 different ways that your school systems conducted business this year. Some of you have been allowed to have FFA meetings. Some of you may not have. Some of you were allowed to attend maybe a discovery conference. Some of you may not be. And it's really would be hard for us to sit down and do a fair program review of your performance, not knowing exactly what your system was allowing you to do. So we figured no one's going to know that any better than your CTA director, your school principal. And so we're going to go back this year again, just like last year, and ask your program administrators to conduct your program evaluations. Now, with that being said, we are going to ask you to attach an addendum to your POW. If there are any standards that are not met, that in any rare circumstance you really feel like your school's COVID protocols made it impossible for that standard to be met, and if your administration agrees with you on that, then we will accept that addendum. So we're going to ask, just to make it clear, that sometime between now and the first week in April, that you set up a time with your administrators, that can be your principal, that can be your CTA director, to conduct your program review. You go online, you check off all the boxes on the right-hand side. If there are instances where you and your administration both agree that it was impossible for you to meet that standard, then you can attach an addendum. We will kind of reserve the right to review those addendums. If we feel like that's a legitimate area that was kind of denied to you because of the way your school was operated, then we can sign off on that. After that is done, we'll ask you to print, scan that program of work along with that addendum, a signed addendum, and email it to the region office to the Applications North email by 5 p.m. on April the 16th. Now, I know there's 212 of you in this meeting, but I do want to just throw it out there. If there's anybody with a real question about that process, to give you the chance to ask that question now. Okay, so I've either made it so clear that everybody gets it, or you're so confused you can't ask an intelligent question. So either way, I'm gonna move on. You can call me, you can email me if you've got some concerns about that. Okay, the next thing is, I'm gonna try not to reiterate what people before me have said at tonight's meeting too much, but I do want you to know a little bit about the CDE revision process. It's an every 3-year process. And what I want you to know is who the North Region teacher representatives are on each of these committees. These committees will all be meeting within the next week. So I'm going to encourage you, if you've got items that you would like to be considered as changes in the way that CDE is conducted. Now, be mindful that that does not include a date of when it's conducted or stuff like that. That's not in the CDE guidelines. That's up to the region offices and determined a lot by the state calendar. But if you've got procedural suggestions of how a CDE ought to be conducted, then these are the people that you will need to put your proposal in writing and share this with these people, and they can take it to their meetings over the next week, and your proposal, your suggestions can get their day in court, so to speak. So Mr. Dustin Keener in White County is on the Agricultural Mechanics Committee. Mr. Paul Little is in Southeast Whitfield is on the Animal Science Committee. Anna Watkins at Franklin County Middle School is the middle school representative on the Animal Science Committee. Catherine Bell at Madison County High School is on the Forestry Committee. Megan Handy in Catoosa County at Heritage High School is on the Horticulture Committee. Justin Youngblood at Loganville Middle School is the middle school representative on the horticulture committee, and Micah Story at Jackson County High School is on the leadership committee. Now, obviously, our area teachers, Mr. Sidney Bell is also on the ag mechanics. Brandon Ray is on the forestry. Kent Benson is on the animal science, and Josh Allen is on the horticulture. So if you have suggestions on these CDEs that you feel like would be good suggestions and things that need to be considered, I'd encourage you to get them to the area teacher or those teacher representatives as soon as possible, because like I said, all those meetings are being held virtually, and all of them have asked those committee chairmen to have those meetings done by February the 4th. So time is of the essence there, but we want you to have input, and we want to make sure everybody had a good opportunity to express their opinion if you've got a strong one. All right, moving on, our American degree. The only thing, you know, I've always speak at every one of these midwinter meetings about how important I think American degrees are. I think it's a great indicator of the overall health of your entire program. If you are turning out American degrees, then in my opinion, you are hitting on all cylinders, and you are doing the best job you can do in terms of taking your students to the pinnacle of their FFA success and their FFA career. Last year, with a virtual national convention, we had a lot of our American degree recipients that opted to defer being awarded their American FFA degree because they wanted the opportunity, and I certainly don't blame them. They wanted that opportunity to go to a live national convention and walk across stage, and I think I'd certainly be in that group if I had that choice to make. What I'd like to ask you to do this time is make sure you reconnect with any of those students that were on their way to being recognized to a American FFA degree and maybe decided to sit last year out and wait till this coming October. Make sure you touch base with them again, because that defer a year did not extend their eligibility any. So if they were, you know, if this may be their last year, if they deferred last year, you know, they have 3 conventions after their graduation to receive that honor. So some of them may be close to timing out. I hope last year, if it was their last year of eligibility, they went ahead and got it. But if they had another year left and wanted to wait until this coming October, then I hope you'll reconnect with them and make sure they follow through with that and they get that recognition, because it's certainly well deserved. And as always, I'd like to encourage you to work with those students that are maybe just becoming eligible to make sure they get that recognition as well. Little information about our FFA alumni. I know just because of statistics, I know a lot of us are probably under 10 years of teaching, and some of you may not know Mr. Jim East, but Jim East has been around since I think I taught my first day in 1994. I have known Jim East. He's been heavily involved. He was a CTA director down in Miller County for years. He then went on to be, he's held just about every office in our state FFA alumni. He's been supportive at a level that I don't think we could almost ever ask anybody to be supportive. He's done anything and everything for FFA, and he was about as dedicated as anybody that I've known to our cause and your students. And he passed away back, I think it was maybe right before Thanksgiving. I just want to take an opportunity to recognize Mr. East and the contribution that he's made. Those of you that knew him, he was a good person, a good man, and we'll miss him. I just wanted to take an opportunity to honor Mr. Jim East. We'll also be conducting the teacher golf tournament again this Friday. This year on a Friday, June 4th at Lane Creek Golf Course. You know, we canceled that last year. We will do it again this year. If those of you that played in it, if you remember the last time we conducted that golf tournament, playing as a teacher in the alumni golf tournament, if you had an alumni affiliate at your school, was free. You and your alumni members could play in that golf tournament for free. So I'd encourage you to put Friday, June 4th on your calendar. We had a really good time. We had 18 teams the last time we had that tournament. We filled the golf course up and we had a lot of fun. So put together a team. If you've got an alumni, you can play for free. and we'd love to have you. All that money goes to supporting the alumni, which in turn goes right back into supporting student initiatives. So you'll get it back. Other thing that has changed around a little bit is our Hall of Fame. You know, we used to induct Hall of Fame members at this midwinter conference at FFA camp. Now that we're on a one-day midwinter conference, Hall of Fame inductees will now be a part of state convention. So that's changed the deadline for nominating people. The nominations for Hall of Fame are due February the 1st, which is right around the corner. So if you've got an old ag teacher or someone in your community that was an ag teacher and meant a lot to the program, then I would encourage you to get that Hall of Fame application. It is on the alumni website, which is housed on the Georgia Ag Ed website, and get that thing filled out and get it to Martin Bias before February the 1st. And then Martin also encouraged me to ask everybody, if you have an alumni affiliate and have not yet sent in your dues, to please do that ASAP. They're collecting them now. They're actually due in December, but they're still taking them. So if you have not submitted your FFA alumni dues yet, it is a $200 affiliation fee for as many FFA alumni members as you want to sign up. The Young Farmers will hold a virtual convention this Friday. They're going to do all their award recognitions. The whole thing will be virtual. They had hoped at one point that they could do a hybrid, but it will be completely virtual, and it will take place this Friday. All our Young Farmer members will be, I'm sure, involved in that. Martin wanted me to ask everybody to get your smoker tickets in. I've got 3 people smoker tickets. I've got the smoker tickets from Union County. I've got the smoker tickets from Washington, Wilkes, and Madison County here on my desk. I will be taking them with me down to the Young Farmer Convention on Friday. They're going to be taping it and conducting it virtually from the FFA camp. So I'm going to go down there on Friday, and I'll take those smoker tickets with me. If you haven't turned yours in yet, it's going to be pretty important that you get them to me between now and Friday. Martin has asked that you please don't mail them, because the mail is pretty unreliable when it gets into this tight of a turnaround, and he doesn't want anybody's tickets to go paid for but maybe not make it into the actual drawing. So if you've got smoker tickets, if you'll let me know, I can meet you somewhere, but I need to make sure we get them to that Young Farmer Convention on Friday. Legislative Day is also still pending right now, but the plan is that if Legislative Day is held at all, it will only involve the state board members. So there'll be more information being sent out to the Young Farmer teachers about that Legislative Day. Our proficiency award timeline, just to kind of review a little bit with you, everybody knows that they are due in a hard copy application February the 1st to our region office. They can be put in the drop box at our office. They can be emailed into the applications website, but those will be due by February the 1st. So I hope you're working with students now. Hope you're putting the finishing touches on a few, and I hope you got a plan to make sure those get here by the due date. We will immediately start the judging process, and then we will announce the region winners, the North region winners. We will announce them on February the 16th in the morning. Immediately following that, Ben Lastly will send out the state finalists the same day, but later in that afternoon. If you have a student that is recognized first place in the region, then you are definitely a state finalist. If you have a student that is recognized as second place in the region, stay tuned, because sometimes there may be a region that does not have an application in a particular category. If that's the case, we make a determination between the other 2 regions' second places, and one of those will be moved up to a state finalist. So if you have a second place student in a category, please don't quit reading your emails regarding proficiency awards, because that student still has a chance of being recognized as a state finalist. So encourage you to kind of stay by your email and watch for those state finalist email to come out. If you are announced as a state finalist on February 16th, we will return your application to you with some comments and suggestions, and you will be asked to return that winning application to the region office by March the 20th, we'll get them back into our office, and then we'll get them to Ben. So be aware of those dates. I do want to remind everybody, because we've had just a very few, but it happens, and I'm sure sometimes it's kind of maybe students and maybe just not quite paying attention, but please don't. There's a difference. If Taylor Casper did a proficiency award last year and she did not win the state in that category, and she submits the same award again this year, that is fine. It's Taylor's proficiency award, and she can submit it as long as she is eligible to submit it. But don't let a student in your chapter that's doing a proficiency maybe in the same category that Taylor did back when she was a North Oconee student recycle Taylor's application. They will be passed through a plagiarism bank, and it will pop out that it is a copied application. So if you've got old applications laying around that you've used to let students see what a winning application looks like, that's good. That's a wise thing to do. But make sure that student knows that they can't go home and just cut and paste out of it and put it in their own application, because that will be kicked out and disqualified. So make sure it's the student's own work, okay? Next thing will be electronic application submission. We got a few changes this year. The National Chapter Award, is on the applications manager website on National FFA now, has been for a little while, and that's where you'll fill out that Form 1 and Form 2. It has been in the past that we've asked you to print that Form 1 out and send it in. I think this year you'll be able to fill out Form 1 on the National Chapter application on the applications manager site, and we will be able to pick it up from there. The same thing for your Agri-Science Fair submissions, and the same thing for your state degrees. If you are completing a state degree this year, you'll do it at the applications manager site. You will hit a button when you are done and everything is met, you can hit a submit button that will submit it straight to North Region. We will get them all in a folder, so to speak. We can go through them. We can make comments right there. Once we have comments made to maybe all those that need a little tweaking, we will send an email out that just says comments have been made. We'll ask you to go back and look at yours to see if any of them have comments. A reminder, Ben reminded you a little bit about this, the things we have the biggest comments on, the things that most students that submit a state degree application that ultimately don't ever get awarded the state degree is always over a few things. It's community service. They just put down some very vague references of what they did for community service, or it's a community service that benefited their own chapter or their own organization, which it cannot do. Be specific about the community service. The other thing is that they have an SAE that is just not ag enough. Okay, make sure they're doing agricultural SAEs. If you know, and those were really the two biggest items. We get SAEs that don't match agriculture, and we get community service that's too vague for us to sign off on. So make sure you're helping your kids clear that hurdle, because that seems to be the biggest ones. Typically at this time, we will be able to tell you that our North Region calendar is available online for the 21-22 school year. Ask you to go look at it and start making comments. This year we're no excuses, but we're a little behind. We do not have the 21-22 calendar ready at this point, but we have a calendar meeting on February the 9th as a region office, and hopefully by February the 10th, that calendar for the 21-22 school year will be set, and we'll ask y'all to do the same things, look at it, make comments, give us some feedback if you have any. And then at summer conference, we will confirm that calendar and have it printed and handed out to you in a hard copy. So that calendar is coming. Before I go to technical team updates, I'd like our area teachers, if y'all have been watching any of the chat, do we have any questions out there that anybody has asked that I can answer before we turn it over to our area teachers for the technical team time?
There was a question about proficiency applications not being accepted. Why are proficiency applications not being accepted the same way as the national chapter applications?
Okay. That's a good question, because you will go to the same application manager site to complete a proficiency application, but we do ask you from that point that you print it, save it as a PDF, and then hard copy it in to us. And the reason for that is because there's going to be over 200 of them, and they have to all be judged. And as from a judging standpoint, our area teachers do all this first round judging. As an office, we all have categories that we judge, and that takes a tremendous amount of time. And we do that in a very, very quick turnaround. And so we've just always felt like we need those in a hard copy so we can put them in a box. We take them home with us. We take them everywhere we go, and we need to be able to judge them when we've got a few minutes. I know I've talked to Kent before. He's judged them on a plane. We used to take them before we announced the results before Perry. We'd all take them down to Perry and judge them down there. If the only place to judge them is off the application site, then we are limited to where we have a laptop and internet service, and it's just easier for us to get that done in such a short turnaround if we've got them in a hard copy. So that's why we ask for those in hard copy, but that's a good question. Anything else I can answer
Stan,
before?
If I could add in there also, when it gets down to the final and we got 2 or 3 or 4 that are really, really good, we just lay them out side by side to really kind of evaluate them and go through page by page also. So it's a lot easier for us to get a true sense of who the winner is by having them in hard copy.
Okay.
Kent, I thought you were fixing to tell them the Dana Perkins method of putting them on the scale, and I didn't want you to do that in front of everybody.
We do have a postal scale. If that's all we got, we can weigh them. It's pretty accurate. All right. As we go into the technical team time, I'm just going to say this blanket. I think the area teachers are going to mention it as well. If you've got questions about the CDEs for the upcoming semester, we did submit a spring CDE protocol. It lays them out. Please refer to that. It's on the North Region website. It's got a lot of information. We put a lot of time into trying to answer a lot of questions with that. So just know that most of the time, questions can be answered by checking that first. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sydney for a technical team update on the ag mechanics. Sydney?
Okay, I have 2 just quick items here. The first being that I do have a PLU course that has been posted to the CTARN site. And if you look on your screen, you should see a description of that. I'm not going to leave it up there long. That same description is on CTARN's website. So just go and look. It's open to a lot of individuals. This is going to be a 1.5-day virtual activity on how to use the web soil survey. It's a lot of fun. I like it a lot. Hope you do. So there you have it. That is available to you. The only other thing that I really have is to talk to you just a little bit. Mr. Mitchell just mentioned the virtual CDE protocols. I'm getting a lot of questions about, is this event live or is this event virtual? And I certainly don't mind answering those questions. However, there's a good bit of information on the website. Okay, so if you go to the Ag Ed website, and I'm going to share my screen again right here to just let you see just a screenshot of our website. Okay, this is the North Region website. So when you go to the Ag Ed website and you click on North Region, you can scroll down There's the virtual proctor registration form. We've also got the North Region Spring CDE protocols that you can just very simply download and open them up. And it'll provide you with, I think, the answers to a lot of the questions that you have. But certainly, if you have specific questions regarding, career development events, you still have some questions about how it will be conducted, I'd be more than happy to address those for you, okay? The next thing I would tell you is that for the CDEs that are remaining with the AgMech technical area, of course, the Area 1 rescheduled lawnmower contest will be tomorrow down at the FFA camp. Ag mechanics this year will be all virtual, okay? And I can answer individual questions, if you want to give me a call, short of just telling you what the stuff's going to be. I think I can put you at ease on that, okay, if you have questions. Tractor driving is a hybrid because the problem solving and the written exam will be via QBank. Of course, the tractor driving will be in person at the location stated on the calendar. Our EMC contest is going to be a hybrid, the Area 1 contest. Jason Cantrell has graciously agreed to do that at their facility. I'll send out some more information on that later. And the Area 2 contest, Mr. David there at Jefferson City High School, David Calloway has graciously agreed to help me with that in terms of providing that facility. We will do the problem solving and the speech demonstration virtually. So if you have some questions about how to go about doing that, please don't hesitate to give me a call. I think the last thing that I have is I do have 2 missing teachers from the meeting. I want to just, I feel like I'm calling you out, but I don't want to miss you. So Sierra Andrews, if you are in this virtual meeting and you would please identify yourself or give me a call at my phone number or give me a text message, email, whatever, and then Mr. Matthew Henderson. Those are the only 2 I'm missing. That's all I have, Mr. Mitchell. Thank you.
Thank you, Sydney. Next is animal science, Mr. Kent Benson.
All righty. I have one teacher that I haven't been able to find, Lori Sorich. So if you are on, make yourself known to me somehow through text or whatever. First off, I just want to make sure that everybody realizes that the animal science area contest coming up, poultry and livestock are both going to be virtual. And you heard Mr. Lastly, we've got plans to hopefully have these in person at a state contest. So look forward to that and more information that outlines how those contests are going to work and follow protocol. Stan also mentioned that the CDE revisions are coming up. And again, Paul Little and Anna Watkins are the representatives that you guys have. Send things in to me or Paul and Anna so that we can address your proposals. I have a couple C-turn classes coming up. One is June 22nd and 23rd. That's equine evaluation. I'm really excited about that. It's going to be conducted by Mark Russell, who is an AQHA World Judge who has judged the AQHA World Show. He's judged in Conyers at the Big A show. And he is one of the lead officials at the National FFA Horse Judging Contest. And we're going to be hosted by Bree Stoops at Morgan County. Also, so that's exciting. You're the first ones to really hear about that. There's a few, you need to get in there if you really want to participate because it's limited seating. The other person that's going to put on a contest is Bree Stoops. Bree, comes from California, my home county. She has done a number of workshops in AET for my friend Lynn Martindale at the University of California at Davis. She comes highly recommended, and she's the one person that I met that gets really excited about AET. So I think that she will bring it to life, and it will be a fun workshop, and you'll get to know another Californian if you come to that workshop, and that will be June 7th, and they are up and live on C-Turn. State show is coming up, and with that in mind, you guys, when you're down there, you may see things that you feel might need a change or a revision. And so your ad hoc members that you should contact, you can contact me. But if it's dairy and you want to suggest a proposal, Mr. Mike Bushy. In swine, it's Dustin Keener. In sheep, it's Tim Griffith and Felipe Pedraza. In beef, it's Skylar Davis and Jacob Seeger. And in goats, it's Zach Lumpkin and Anna Smith. Those are your reps. Those are the people that you send proposals to or concerns for the state livestock show. More about the state livestock show is if you're going down there, please prepare your students, your parents, everyone that's involved that will be following protocol. You will be required to wear a mask in the show ring area buildings. The exhibitors will be required to wear a mask. Spectators will wear masks, judges, show management, we will all be wearing masks in the show facility. Outside in the stalling area, it is recommended. New thing for this year that if you want to get down there and get a little head start, you can go in on Tuesday and set up tack only between 4 and 8 o'clock p.m. Okay. If you bring down cattle, they can be out in the tie stalls, but not in the barns. So tack can go in on Tuesday from 4 to 8 p.m. I'll be sending out a work schedule personally for me, it's the Breeding You show. If anybody would like to help out with the Breeding You show, I would appreciate you signing up. I'm sure all the other superintendents would appreciate volunteers also. And the last thing, and the thing that I always say is get out there, and I know it's difficult, but you got kids going down to the state show, you still need to get out there and see their projects. And the things that are important right now are making sure the tattoos are readable, the ear tags match the entries, the tattoos match the entries, the registration, the transfer dates are by the entry deadlines. Make sure all of that is correct so that when you get there and you do your check-in, it's easy breezy and there's no complications, because that is a stressful moment for students, parents, and you want to avoid that, trust me. So if you have any questions, just give me a call. Let me help you out. Appreciate all you do.
All right, thank you, Kent. All right, with that, we're going to move on to Mr. Brandon Ray in forestry.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Hello, everybody. It's great seeing you, even though it's still in a virtual platform. I just have a few announcements. I wanted to start with my C-Turn class. The class I'll be putting on that is posted right now is forestry identification and importance. It's going to kind of focus on two areas, tree ID and forest disorder ID, and importance and management of those. So we'll have some good facilitators come in. We'll also have some opportunities to get some good leaf samples in that regard. So sign up for that if you are interested. Up next, again, I know it's been mentioned a couple of times, the CDE revisions. This year, Miss Catherine Bell is the representative in the North region for forestry. So if you have any suggestions, please let her know. And just a general note for everybody on CDE revisions, there is a form, a suggested revision form under the CDE tab on the website. So you need to follow that. Don't just necessarily shoot an email and say this, I think this needs to change, but there is a format that you need to follow in order to suggest those revisions. So find that, fill them out, and get them in ASAP, because we're going to be meeting. I know people are setting their meetings up virtually in the next several days. As far as CDEs go, there's just a few notes I wanted to make. Again, make sure you look at the protocols. They're pretty well spelled out for most of the contest. The forestry CDE, so the 4-man forestry, is virtual. But the forestry field day is in person. And the forestry field day will have staggered start times based on the registration. And of course, we'll follow the COVID protocols outlined that we've outlined. So if you have any questions about those, please let me know. Again, the virtual forestry CDE is pretty well outlined in the spring virtual protocols. As far as just CDE training goes, I've had a few questions about, what might be on it or how's it going to be different. And the big thing I want to just reiterate is, for my contest, train your students just like you would for a live contest, because that's how I developed the virtual contest, and that will also not put us at a great disadvantage at a state contest. The big difference with that is maybe on the ENR CD. The GPS, of course, cannot be done virtually with the GPS unit, so there is some reference material and information in those spring protocols. So, and then of course for land judging, just know your breakdowns for each of your soil factors. Ag sales, just a brief note on that. We will, and this is outlined as well in the virtual protocols, but the area test this year will narrow teams down to 8 teams. So those of you competing in the Ag Sales CDE, first you'll take a QBank exam, and we'll get a cut down to 8 and do the in-person interviews via Zoom. Okay. The last thing I wanted to mention, going back to proficiencies, I know a lot of you are filling them out right now. Make sure to check out the videos on the North Region page if you're especially if you're filling them out for the first or second time, just to get some more information, basic information on the different areas of the proficiency application. Those videos are on the North Region page. So there's some good information on that North Region page if you guys will take some time to surf on that. Other than that, if you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to call. It's really good seeing all those smiling faces out there, and I wish all of y'all the best. I know y'all are working hard and doing the best you can.
All right, thank you, Brandon. And I think that brings us to round it up with horticulture and Mr. Allen.
I'm not really sure what Brandon's looking at. I hadn't seen too many smiling faces out there. I've seen a bunch of sleeping faces and dogs and everything else. But hey, it's fun. I at least like seeing something out there. Some of y'all need to pay your light bill though. We'll say that. No times are tight. All right. With my update, Mr. Mitchell wanted us to talk about C-turn classes. I've got 3 that are currently posted. A landscape design workshop that will be held at our North Region office. Planned to be held at our North Region office on June 7th and 8th. Dr. Richard Ludwig is going to be teaching that class. Several of y'all took this course a couple years ago. I would say if you took it, it's going to be the same class. So I wouldn't suggest signing up for it again. Leave that opportunity for others. But Dr. Ludwig's been doing it for a long time. He taught it about 20 years ago when Stan and I took it. And he's just as passionate about it today as he was 20 years ago, and does a really good job with it. We also going to offer the teacher training for the certified plant professional certification through GGIA that you have to be industry certified. So that will be offered again this year. Again, planned to be at the UGA Livestock Arena on June 14th through the 16th. And then the following day, have a greenhouse and garden pest management kind of workshop, kind of hopefully what I was hoping to do last year that had to go virtual. We're going to try to do a hands-on deal this year, but it's going to be up at the UGA Mountain Research Station in Blairsville. So to give us a little bit of a different view of things, we're going to head north and go to that awesome facility up there. So hopefully, if you teach horticulture and you can find one of these 3 workshops that'll suit you. Speaking of teaching horticulture, I appreciate Joey Dean letting me hang out in his greenhouse today. I am on the last day of my COVID quarantine, so Joey let me in the Cass High School greenhouse to sit here and hang out on my last day, and I do appreciate that, Joey. You're a good man. So other than that, plant delivery we have coming up. February 8th is my plans to be dropping off at Adairsville High School like we did last year. Should be rolling in there around 4 o'clock based on just how long it takes to drive up to pick up the plants and and head back down 75. Then the next day, February 9th, the North Region office will have a pickup there. For a few of you schools that are farther away, I'll be in touch with you guys, kind of the northern tier of area too. I'll plan on trying to come meet y'all somewhere, get a little bit closer so you don't have quite as far of a drive. But looks like kind of centrally located is actually our office for most of you. But we'll hit that on February 9th. With the one CD I have remaining is floral design, and I know that's going to look a little different being virtual. We're not going to actually design, which obviously would be considered the major portion of that event. But we're coming up with an elements of design identification, because I think the biggest thing you need to be teaching out of that event anyway is the elements of design that we judge your students' designs on. So look at those, have the students really hone up on what each of those elements, what a judge would be looking for. The student will be seeing 3 pictures of a design and will be asked a question such as, which of these designs best represents blank element? So whether that's color, balance, focal emphasis, one of those kind of things. So I don't anticipate it being terribly difficult. The problem is right now is finding images, because not too many people post images of not so good designs. So if any of y'all want to help me out with that, y'all can send me some pictures of some designs that are lacking. I'd be happy to use those. So Mr. Mitchell, with that, I believe I am finished, and I've seen some chats coming in, but I haven't been able to keep up reading them. So I'm finished with mine, but I'll go through the chat.
Okay, I've been kind of keeping up with the chat a little bit, and I'm gonna take a minute to respond to a couple of questions, and one of them is I think probably one that everybody's been experiencing to some degree, varying degrees. But the comment is that, you know, the issue of having some students drop out of CDs right before game time without much time to get an alternate, and in multiple teacher programs, that can become a challenge with CDs and everybody trying to meet their standards. And let me say this, I don't think my hat's ever been off anymore to a group of people that have put up with what all y'all have put up with this year. Okay, I want to say that up front. I can't imagine what it would have been like this year to have 8 kids one day and 12 kids another day, and kids that show up in the middle of the day, and you know, it's almost like a free for all, and everybody's kind of coming and going. We're virtual, we're in person, we're virtual. Folks, that's a pretty amazing resilience on all of y'all's part. And I will be forever indebted to you for the job y'all have done. That being said, I can't get past the part that says we got paid to do some other stuff as well. And we got to make good on that promise. Anybody in this meeting that paid somebody to put a new roof on your house, regardless of whatever challenges they faced with the weather and maybe some people on their crew that got COVID and everything else, when they left, you're going to have a new roof on your house, or they're going to give you the money back that you paid them to put a new roof on your house. And I guess I'm old school, but that's just the way I see this whole situation. We've been paid to meet program standards and provide these opportunities for kids, and we got to do the best job we can do to make that happen. We owe it to the kids, and we owe it to the state of Georgia and the legislators that saw fit to pay us in full before we ever began the job. So that being said, I understand your challenges. We're all having them. We've had our share around here. You can ask for a bunch of old guys to be retrained in the technology that we've been retrained all here, thinking that we had rounded that last curve toward home and that we didn't have to learn any more new tricks. And we haven't been faced with the daily onslaught that y'all have, but I think we've done pretty well trying to make sure that we kept the train on the tracks and provided every opportunity that we've promised y'all we would provide. So with that being said, do the best you can. I understand you're going to have challenges this year that you never had before. I've had people tell me it's hard to, when your kids are virtual and at home and never come to school. I can imagine that would be a real challenge, trying to get kids excited about being in CDEs, trying to get them to follow through. And I'm just going to ask you to do the very best you can. Knowing that, I know you will do a great job because I've seen the job you've been doing on everything else that you've put your heart into. Jessica, I had a question about National Chapter Award. Jessica, I think Ben answered your question. If he answered it well enough, wonderful. If you've got something else to follow up, you're welcome to unmute yourself and chime in now. All right, and then Nikki had some questions about filling out a Form 2 with the events being canceled due to COVID. I think that's just going to be one of those, such as life. If you had an event planned and it got canceled, then it got canceled. And I don't think you can do any kind of follow-up or evaluation. It'd be a pretty short evaluation to say the event was canceled due to COVID and we didn't meet any of our goals. So I think if that's the boat I was in, I'd probably just hold off until you were able to conduct those events like you planned before I went on to put them on a Form 2 application. And just kind of hope for better luck next time. Any update on how students should be set up for conduct of chapter meetings? It will be a virtual contest. I think Mr. Allen talked to him today. By the way, hats off to your greenhouse there, Joey. That is a pretty phenomenal greenhouse. You're doing a great job for an old animal science guy. But Josh is putting together some tips for that conduct of chapter meeting and how the rooms will be arranged and how we recommend you to arrange the room so that we make sure we can do a good job of judging you in a virtual format. So he should be sending that out here real soon. Brandon, we got a question about the best place to buy leaf presses. I know when I was at North Oconee, we bought them out of Ben Meadows. I would say Ben Meadows is part of Forestry Suppliers. Brandon, would you have a better place than Forestry Suppliers?
When I was in the classroom, I got them from there. But again, I think somebody also said it. You can also make them with some cardboard and either old textbooks.
Yeah, be a good use of some old textbooks.
Yeah, I know y'all ag teachers who's had an ag program around for a while probably got some old textbooks you ain't using. So
yep. Okay. I'm thinking that I'm not seeing any question that we haven't covered yet. Just to make sure one more time everybody's kind of clear, we are virtual this semester in terms of our CDE participation, with the exception of we've already done lawnmower driving. Then tractor driving is going to have a live component. EMC is going to have a live component, and forestry field day will be all live. With the exception of those three remaining events, we have I think a very good plan to make sure that we have some quality virtual events planned for the remainder of this semester. So I know we've continued to get several questions about that. Can you bring proficiency apps to lawnmower tomorrow? Absolutely. And thank you, Ms. Katrina. If you have not paid your $150 to PRC, let me encourage you to make sure you do that. And if you haven't joined GVATA yet, make sure you do that. Anybody that's got a question that they did not want to ask on in the group, I will stay around for a little while. I've got our meeting reserved, I think, till 8 o'clock. So I'll hang around and answer one-on-one questions for anybody that's got them. Other than that, know that I admire the job you've done. I appreciate the effort. I can't thank you enough for the flexibility, and my hat's off to each and every one of you. So I'll end the meeting for all of you. We have adjourned the meeting. There's Josh is sharing a screen there for what he's going to send out to everybody on conduct of chapter meetings and Parley Pro. But with that, we'll adjourn the meeting. Hang out if you've got some questions. Willis, I see you waving at me. Do you have something to throw out to share with us?
Trying to unmute. There we go. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can.
Oh, I just wanted to say hey to everybody, especially my first years out there. I have had an absolute blast visiting your programs. You are encouraging me. It almost makes me want to go back into the program. When I went over to visit Mr. Cantrell over at Mr. Clark, I'm sorry, at Carrollton, I looked at that and I thought, wow, if I'd have seen this facility, I might have come back in too. But y'all are doing great things. And those of you that are second, third, and fourth, and remember what it was like, I know Mr. Mitchell said something about 94. It was 1983 for me. And it was like yesterday. I remember my student teaching experience too, to those of you who are student teaching, Joel Daly at Calhoun High School. And I want to encourage you as well. Hopefully I'll be working with you next year. Maybe they'll ask me back to be part of the recruitment and retention. But if I can be of service to any of you all, I'm W. Calloway at Georgia Ag Ed. You can find me on the teacher directory. You can contact any of these guys at the region office and they can get you in contact with me if I can be of service in any way. And I don't want to let Josh be the only one with something humorous. I just want to know where y'all shop for your shirts, man. I just really like that. But thank you for letting me be part of it, Mr. Mitchell. Always a pleasure to be with you guys in the North region. And if I can be of any service, let me know.
Thank you, Willis. All right.
Stan, can
feel
I say
free to
something?
hang out. Sure you can.
Just real quick, wanted to let everybody know that I hope that everybody got a chance to notice that we sent out for anybody who's interested in replacing me as area director. I want to thank everybody for the opportunity to have served. It has been an incredible experience, and I encourage you, if you are interested at all, call me, ask me questions about it. But we did have 2 applicants. So we will be having a runoff for our area director for coming up this summer. So look for an email that will have information on both of them. And then you'll be able to vote. We're going to do an online voting. So I just wanted to thank you for those applicants. We have Lauren Jarrett and oh my brain, Josh Boydston. Lauren Jarrett and Josh Boydston will be our candidates. And so we will be sending out additional information and a voting ballot. So either one will make an excellent candidate, I'm sure, excellent serving. But thank you again for allowing me to serve. And I just want to let y'all know I appreciate it. And I'm willing to help anybody who would love to fulfill that role in the future if you have questions or need my help.
Thank you, Ruby, for your service. And I know everybody will join me in thanking you for the time that you've put in representing Area 1. And I look forward to the election. And I agree with you. Either one of those would make great Area 1 representatives. So thank you for what you've done. Thank you for your service. Anybody else got any parting shots?
No, hey Stan, this is Sabrina. Can you hear me?
I can.
Great. I just want to let you know that my lights, I did pay my light bill, but you just can't see me right now, Josh.
Hey, I got my finger on mute, Sabrina. I'm fixing to mute you. You better be careful.
Yeah. Right.
I got
you on a short leash there, Sabrina. Short leash.
When are the state leadership contests, CDEs? I hope we didn't miss it because I never received the email.
Yeah, most of them were first semester. All the speaking events, junior and senior public speaking, the creed, discussion meet, and job interview were all first semester. The LDEs that are still qualify on your program of work as an LDE that will be second semester are going to be parliamentary procedure and conduct of meetings. We will also have ag sales and marketing. One of you area teachers jump in if I've left one out.
I think she was asking about the state events, and we don't have particular dates on those. We just had a state staff meeting today. and basically that was when we found out that they were going to be held virtually and that we needed to have a plan put together for what dates those would be held on. So that information, I'm sure, will be coming out within the next week or so, as those state superintendents kind of get together and start notifying those involved.
Okay, because I thought I missed something, and you know how I am. I would drive up there.
No, those straight to state events that Ben shared
Poultry
with us that
science
were
building,
going to be
Sabrina, poultry science building.
virtual, we haven't planned those yet.
Sabrina, hey Sabrina, this is Ben Lastly. I can tell you a couple things right now. Nothing's going to happen before March the 20th, and it will be done before convention April 24th. It's likely not going to be a weekend on those virtual events, so I can tell you sometime between March 20 and April 24th, and we'll get the rest of the information to you just as quick as we can. I know you want it, and we need to finalize it too, so I can give you that window of time.
Okay, great. That's what I needed. All right, thank you. Now you can mute me, Josh, because I'm driving.
And just make sure you have good internet on those virtual contests.
All right, anything else? All right, thank y'all for what you do. I hope you'll reach out to us if we can help. Hang around if you've got a question that you'd like to ask. And hopefully we'll see each other in person at some point. I look forward to it. Go get vaccinated.
Ben, you had a question about Ag Ed in the chat.
Yes, sir. So I was looking at that and I was wondering, I noticed on the presentation that it was a straight to state CE and it would be at the FCCLA FFA Center. I was just wondering if there could possibly be an alternative just for those counties that have out-of-state travel or out-of-county travel bans, because I have a student that's interested in doing that one, but I reached out to my CTAE director, but I'm not positive we would be able to travel. Will there be possibly an alternative for that they could do?
Yeah, to be fair, I'm not ready to answer that right now. I'm not going to commit to anything right now. We're trying to do those in person. I understand everybody's got a different setup. So I will answer your question, but I'm not ready to answer it now that I can stand behind it. So I'm not going to go on the record just yet.
Yes, sir. Thank you.